Hello, I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions. Thank you for your time. When I saw the horrific video of Mr. George Floyd losing his life, I wanted to take action immediately. I wanted to do something. So the first thing I decided to do was make a financial contribution to Black Lives Matter. Unfortunately, when I attempted to make a donation, I learned that the Black Lives Matter organization is not organized at all. I was very disappointed in the lack of transparency that I saw regarding financial transactions. So I started to dig a little deeper into the Black Lives Matter organization itself. And I learned that it is composed of several different chapters and entities that have different operating processes or practices. Some have 501c3 status, some do not. Some had 501c3 status, but it was revoked by the IRS. So I became very concerned. I decided to dig deeper. I decided to create an investigative series to look at each chapter and entity of Black Lives Matter to determine how they work. More importantly, I wanted to know how they were using the millions of dollars of money that's being invested as a result, unfortunately, of the anger and pain and frustration from Mr. George Floyd's murder. People have been donating money since that terrible incident on May 25th, 2020, when he lost his life. Let me be clear. I support Black Lives Matter, the slogan, the rallying cry, the galvanizing phrase, Black Lives Matter. I support it because Black lives matter. I'm Black. I don't support the Black Lives Matter organization, chapters, and entities accepting money without being transparent about how they use the money. I think it's unfortunate that these chapters and entities are accepting donations from well-meaning people who are assuming the money is going to be used in the Black communities to do good work without providing proof of where the money is going. So I've been asking the question, I've been reaching out, and I've been highlighting each chapter as a part of the investigative series to learn. I want to learn. I want to know. We all know that Black lives matter, but the money that you're generating could benefit the Black communities in so many profound ways. That's what I'm investigating, everybody. I've gotten backlash from Black people, and I expected it, who are saying that I am causing division. Me, one person, I'm causing division in the Black community by questioning Black Lives Matter. Or they're saying that, why am I bringing this up? Why am I not supporting them? Maybe they don't know how to use the money. That's silly. If you don't know how to use money, don't accept it. Or maybe they're overwhelmed with the amount of money they are receiving. That can happen. I understand that. seek help, seek guidance. But the first thing you do is report it. The first thing you do is being transparent. You don't want to appear like you are appearing to me, as if the money is not being used the way it's intended. We are a disenfranchised group of people as a whole. Of course, there are segments in the Black community who are doing well or that are doing well, but there are people who need this money. And people are giving you the money. So where is it? The focus of this episode, episode number 4, is Black Lives Matter Chicago chapter. I'm going to focus on the Chicago chapter in this episode of the Investigative Series. So let's see, where is the money with Black Lives Matter Chicago? Black Lives Matter chapters. Here are the chapters that are listed on the blacklivesmatter.com website as chapters that have gone through the process of having the privilege of being listed as official chapters under the Black Lives Matter banner. Again, the focus of this investigation is Chicago, the Chicago chapter. When I complete my investigations, I provide results. The results are answers to the following topics, like contact information. What is the contact information for the Black Lives Matter Chicago chapter? What is the Black Lives Matter chapter status under the Black Lives Matter umbrella, if you will? What's the Black Lives Matter chapter, Chicago chapter IRS filing status? Revenues generated. How much revenues has the Chicago chapter generated? How are revenues distributed? How are they using the revenues that people give them, the revenues that people invest? And finally, what's the status of their financial transparency? So I'm going to provide answers or discussions around each one of these topics. To get started, I'm going to go to the Black Lives Matter Chicago chapter website. So just one moment as I pause to go to that website. Thank you for your patience. Okay, thank you for your patience again. So now I am on the Black Lives Matter Chicago website. And the first question or topic of discussion is the contact information. So I went to contact, I clicked on contact, and I'm here at the contact page. And the piece of contact information that's provided is the phone number. Now, when I dialed the phone number, it was a Google number, and that's fine, but I did not get an answer. So I will try again later. Another way that you can reach out to them is to send them a message. So you can send a message and submit it, and I'm sure they will get back with you. You have the other Black Lives Matter Chicago platforms that you can check. But what I'm looking for here, I'm looking for a person's name. I'm looking for a mailing address. I'm looking for more information on a contact page in which on a website in which you accept donations. There should be more information around who can I contact, because let's say that I make an investment. How do I know how the money is going to be used? How am I going to know who to contact if I have questions about anything? There's nothing here except a phone number and a place where you can submit a message. So that's the first topic that I wanted to investigate. The second topic is the chapter status. And we know, like I said, the Black Lives Matter Chicago chapter is listed on the blacklivesmatter.com website as an official chapter. So we can check that off. The next topic I was going to investigate for Black Lives Matter Chicago is the IRS filing status. So let me go to the irs.gov website where I always go to check the filing status of the Black Lives Matter organizations. So just one moment, please, while I switch over to that. Just one moment. Thank you for your patience. I think this is important because we need to have transparency to know where money is going. So let me get here. And now I'm here. So I'm going to show you the page that I always go to when I'm searching for information about Black Lives Matter chapters and whether or not they have 501c3 status. Okay. We are here now. Okay, so now I am on the irs.gov page, and this is a page for tax exempt organization search. And this is where you go. If you ever have a question, not only about Black Lives Matter, but any entity that's taking money from people to provide services in a community, you want to check their 501c3 status or any other nonprofit status that they may have. So you can search by employer identification number or EIN or by organization name. So since the Black Lives Matter Chicago doesn't have an EIN number on its site, I decided to check by organization name. So I select the organization name and I type in Black Lives Matter Chicago, and then I click on search. Okay. If I scroll down, it says your search did not return any results. Please try again. So I'm going to search maybe by city. I'm going to type in Chicago because you can search in different ways, and sometimes it'll come up in a different way than just by the name. You can add more information to it. So I put Chicago, Black Lives Matter Chicago, Chicago, Illinois. So it should come up here if it's there. Okay. So as you can see, it did not return any results. So I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to take out Chicago and I'm going to click on Black Lives Matter, Chicago, Illinois. Maybe it'll come up that way. Let's see. No, it didn't. So I'm going to just remove the city name and remove the state name. Let's look at all states. And I'm just going to put Black Lives Matter. Let's see what happens then. Maybe Illinois will come up here. Okay. So I have 13 results. And let's just scroll down. And these results are showing Black Lives Matter in different forms, different ways. So there's a Charleston, South Carolina, as you can see here. And I know right away that it's revoked. The status is revoked for Charleston because it's on the auto revocation list, which means it did not file a Form 990 information return for 3 consecutive years. So I'm going to just scroll down the list and let you look because I already know the answer to the question. There is not a Black Lives Matter Chicago listed here as having 501c3 status. The Black Lives Matter Lake County is not, although it's in Illinois, it's not the Chicago chapter. So it's not here. So the answer to that investigative question is no, there is no 501c3 filing status for Black Lives Matter Chicago. Okay, well, let's go back then to the Black Lives Matter Chicago website. And let's see if we can find information about revenues generated and revenues distributed. So I'm going to go back to that website and see if there is any information about how they use the money. So I'm going to go to the home page, and About Us is here. So let's read a little bit. Black Lives Matter Chicago is an intersectional vehicle that values Black people and our right to self-determination. And you can read all of that information at your leisure. What I'm looking for is information on how revenues are generated. How do they raise money? Okay, so we go to donate, it says, make a donation to help us continue this important organizing work. All all contributions are cherished and appreciated. Okay. Okay. Look, here is an address. I was wrong. There is an address. Okay. Where you mail your checks. There is not a person listed there, but at least there's an address. So now we have an address and a phone number. That's great. Okay, so the contact information is improving. We don't have a person that's, so to speak, in charge that's showing here, like a leader, but at least there is an address and a phone number. I like that. All right. Let's see here. I'm looking for something that says financial, something about finance or how money is used. It shows the, oh, okay, the events page is not available right now. That's okay. You can scroll through and look at the different things that they do. And looking through, and I've looked at this page, of course, before I started this video, they are doing some work in the community. They are doing some work in the community. Based on what I'm seeing, they just need to organize. They need to put a dollar sign beside what they're doing so that people will have an understanding of what they are doing. Like the food box, they are addressing the food deserts in their area. That's great. But when you read through the information, you will see that they're saying they work with volunteers. Most of their efforts are on a volunteer basis. So that would lead someone to wonder, okay, if you're volunteering, then where is the money going? All I want to know is where the money is going. I'm not condemning people. I just want to know, where is the money going and how is it being used? That's how you create credibility in what you're doing. That's how you create credibility. So I don't see it. So the revenues generated and the revenues distributed are not explained here. And so I make the conclusion, this is my personal conclusion, is that there is no financial transparency. If you can't tell me how you generate revenues, and if you can't tell me how you use revenues, then there's no transparency. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. Okay. Enough of that. Let me go back to the PowerPoint and wrap everything up and show the answers to the questions. So just one moment, please. Okay, so now here are the results of the investigation. As I mentioned, I will be looking for contact information, and I did find an address and a phone number, which is good. There is a Black Lives Matter chapter status. There is not a Black Lives Matter Chicago chapter IRS filing status, though. We can't find any revenues generated. We can't find any revenues distributed. And so therefore, in my opinion, there is no financial transparency, unfortunately. So we'll move on. We'll keep going. I am Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions. I started my own 501c3 nonprofit organization back in 2003. I operated 2 programs underneath it for 10 years. I've earned 3 nonprofit management certificates, 1 from Duke University, 1 from Wake Forest University, and 1 from Winthrop University. I'm also a 3-time graduate of Winthrop University. I earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration, a Master of Arts in Teaching Business Education, and a Master of Business Administration degree. I teach nonprofit classes in person and online. I teach people how to start, fund, manage, sustain, and reinstate 501c3 nonprofit organizations. I also complete the Form 1023 application for recognition of exemption for clients across the United States. And since I've been doing it I've been doing that, I'm sorry, since 2010. And I have helped 112 people complete their 501c3 application packet, aka Form 1023 application for recognition of exemption. And I also have a 100% approval rating from the Internal Revenue Service, which means all of my clients receive their determination approval letters from the IRS to operate as 501c3 nonprofit organizations. I'm not new at this. This is not something that I'm guessing. I know how nonprofit organizations or organizations that are accepting money to do good in the community are supposed to demonstrate financial transparency. I know how that works. So that's why it hurts my heart to know that Black Lives Matter has such a big global platform in which they could do good. People want to give, people are giving money, but I just have a problem with how it's being misused or how it appears to be misused. I invite the Black Lives Matter chapters and entities that I'm highlighting in my investigations to prove me wrong. I want them to prove me wrong. I don't want to be right about what I'm learning and what I'm seeing. I don't want to be right. I want to be wrong. I want to receive a cease and desist letter to stop these investigations because they have evidence to show me that they are doing the right thing. I want that to happen. Again, I believe in Black Lives Matter. I believe in the rallying cry. I support it 100%. But I do not, and I will not ever support the Black Lives Matter chapters and entities that are misusing the millions of dollars that people are giving to help the Black community. Next, I'm inviting you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're interested in these investigations, because the next one that's coming up is episode number 5, Black Lives Matter, Washington, D.C. Black Lives Matter, Washington, D.C. is the next episode that I'm going to investigate to provide information on how Washington, D.C. is using the money it's receiving through the Black Lives Matter chapter or entity. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and also click on the bell so that you will get an update every time I upload a new video. I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions. Thank you and have a great day.